Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Unless you're mowing it, let's see your mobile phone for initiative. Do as I say. What's up, a frowny face? Go out and play. Just like your parents did. Just like your parents did. As if your parents did.
Hello and welcome to First Gen Gamers. I am solo host Jed. Ashley, get well soon. She's a bit under the weather right now. But I have a special guest. She is one half of the co-hosting team behind the excellent horror movie centric, but also very women-driven centric podcast, The Final Girls. I'm sorry, it's just Final Girls.
Final Girls podcast, yeah. It's fine, just Final Girls, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Kellie, welcome to the show.
Hi. Yes, Ashley, get well soon. Sorry you couldn't be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am normally with my co-host Sarah, my sister-in-law, but yes, she is not a gamer yet. And so I will be standing in for both of us on the gaming discussion.
So before we get to the topic at hand, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So you are a gamer, and that was being a gamer and a horror movie fan where once I got into your podcast and I heard that, I think it was in one of the very early episodes, the light bulb just went off. I'm like, I got to cross over. This is perfect. So how long have you been a gamer?
Oh gosh, I mean, my whole life. Growing up, my dad had one of the really old chunky Game Boys, like the gray ones, like the first generation. And I mean, we had some god awful games on there, but what really kind of started my love affair with gaming was honestly Pokemon. I was super into Pokemon as a kid. And so, I played it on Game Boy. I had Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64. And that was an appreciation of mine for a very long time. And then after that, in terms of like more console style gaming, yeah, Nintendo 64 was the kind of the first major one that I was using. And so we had like Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing. My brother, Sarah's husband, was a big like Zelda fan. And so I watched him play a lot of that. And then, we would rent things from Blockbuster and play them. So
just thinking of the original Game Boy and Pokemon took me back. When the first Pokemon came out, I was working at Software Etc.
Mm-hmm.
I remember just floods
of
people. And for all the people who, and this is gamers and non-gamers alike, who hear Pokemon and just assume that it's like 8-year-olds. No, even when the first Pokemon came out, it was everyone from 8 to 38. It was everyone coming in then was just Pokemon crazy.
Yep. I mean, what can I say? And it was an amazing game. I kind of wish that they were still innovating a bit more in terms of like newer games that they're releasing, because I know that they've kind of been stuck in a rut for a while. I would love if they released a full-on like photorealism, open world Pokemon on like one of the new consoles. Of course, Nintendo won't allow that. They've got a good thing going for them, but
I can't imagine photorealistic.
Oh my god, wouldn't it be amazing though?
That would
get me back into it.
It would be so bizarre to see like Pikachu and Charizard tried to fashion in a way that looks real enough to be a real animal. That would be,
I think that'd be
fun.
That
would, the more I'm picturing it though, the more intoxicating of an idea.
I know, right? Well, I mean, think about like Detective Pikachu, right? That's probably like the closest we got. We got the furry, fuzzy looking Pikachu.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, real enough.
So before we get into talking about our topic today, let's also talk about your podcast, Final Girls. For the listeners of my show who haven't heard it, would you tell them about it, please?
Sure. And it's funny, Sarah and I'm a little bit, it's not jet lag. I don't know what to call it because I was driving. But we were at a convention this weekend. I actually got home at midnight last night, called Midsummer Scream in LA. And it's basically kind of like an early Halloween horror type. It's kind of, I described it as Comic-Con crossed with Halloween Horror Nights. So it was a kind of intense experience, really, really packed with people. And we got to kind of go around and network a bit. So that was really cool. But yeah, so our Final Girls podcast, as always, credit to Sarah for the idea because she's the one who approached me about it. She and my brother had gone to see Terrifier 2, I believe, in the theater. And she came away kind of thinking like, oh my God, Sienna from Terrifier is such a great final girl. You know, wouldn't it be cool to have a platform where we could discuss these powerful female characters in horror? And then she talked to me about it because I have a film degree. And so it was kind of a natural fit. And since then, you know, we started in January and we've been releasing weekly consistently since then. So for about 8 or 9 months. And we cover a different final girl every episode. So, you know, the one I always use as an example is Ripley, because Ripley is kind of accessible even to non-horror fans. Like even, you know, my parents know who Ripley is, you know. But certainly at some point we'll cover like Laurie Strode, Sydney Prescott. We most recently covered Melanie from The Birds. So that was an interesting one.
I have yet to listen to that episode. It's been a busy week. The last work week was terrible, but I want to go back and listen to that one just because it's your show. But two, huge Hitchcock fan. Like I'm in the middle of watching all of Hitchcock's movies.
Really?
41 out of 52.
Oh my gosh. So have you rewatched The Birds yet recently or not?
I had not seen The Birds until I started this.
Really?
Yeah. So it was one of the first ones that I did once I got in on the, like I had seen a couple of Hitchcock movies prior to that, but The Birds was one of them that was part of this run. So I am familiar with it. It's weird ending aside.
Yeah. We definitely discussed that.
Yeah. Still an incredible movie.
Yeah. I'm really curious to hear if you do listen to that episode, what you think about it. Cause yeah, we dove pretty deep into that one. And I have pet birds, so I had a little bit of a vested interest.
But yeah, I will definitely be listening to that this week, and I will share my thoughts.
Awesome.
Probably on Blue Sky.
Sure. Please do.
But yeah, it's a great show. I love listening to it. I love the idea behind exploring the final girls because it's as much of as a trope as it can be in lesser movies. In the right movie, it can be a really amazing character. Like you said, Ripley, perfect example.
Amazing.
Yeah. One of the best final
One
girls.
of our favorites.
Yeah. One of the best characters.
Honestly. Yeah. And great franchise too. I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise. But yeah, I mean, we like to say that even in recent years, there's been kind of not just a horror renaissance, but a final girl renaissance. We're actually seeing a lot more really powerful, memorable final girls to the point where Sarah and I have to make sure that we're not just doing super new movies because it would be easy to do. We have a list of 200 to 300 final girls at least that we want to cover. And so many of them are even just from the past 5 years, even just the past 2 years. So yeah, we want to make sure that we still reach back to the Melanies and the like Rosemary from Rosemary's Baby. And, but yeah, it's an amazing time for horror fans and for women in horror.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask, who's your favorite final girl?
We get this question a lot. Mine is a little bit of a wild card because not many people know her. And I'm a little bit biased because we have the same name. But my favorite horror franchise is Evil Dead. And I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan, huge Ash fan. But I do enjoy the new Evil Deads also. I always get into this discussion with people. They're like, oh, but don't you like the new ones so much more? And I'm like, I love the original. And I mean, yeah, I love Ash and I need them to have Ash. So
I'm with you there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So there was an Evil Dead TV show, as I'm sure you and many of your listeners know, Ash versus Evil Dead, that was so good and so much fun and was canceled way too soon. But there is a final girl in the TV show. Her name is Kellie, and she's a super badass. She doesn't take any shit from Ash, and I love her. Everyone should watch that show and enjoy her. So
Regrettably, I have not seen it. I didn't
it's so
have.
worth it.
I need to go out and watch it because it's Evil Dead and
It's
it's Ash.
really fun. So, and I should mention, Kellie is played by an actress called named Dana De Lorenzo. And yeah, the show is totally worth watching if you like Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I need to put that on the watch list and make the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
One more horror related question.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first horror movie? I find this always interesting to see where the gateway was. Like,
yeah.
Some people ease into it with like Gremlins and The Gate.
Oh, I love
and
Gremlins.
stuff like that. And then some people are like, yeah, when I was 6, my babysitter showed me Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, it's actually funny that you asked this because Sarah and I were just on another podcast where the theme was your first horror movie. And so we actually discussed this. That episode hasn't been released yet. My answer is a little bit controversial, and I kind of split it into there was my first horror movie and then also my first slasher movie because I had very different experiences with those, and they came at very different times. My first horror movie, and this is the hot take, is Jurassic Park. And I know that not everyone considers Jurassic Park a horror movie, to which I disagree. And I think that if you consider Jaws a horror movie, or even The Birds a horror, like the creature features, right? And and Jurassic Park has strong horror themes. I was obsessed with dinosaurs as a kid, and it's funny because I was a huge wimp also. Like I didn't watch scary stuff when I was really young, but when I was like 7, I was begging my parents to let me see Jurassic Park in the theater, which now everyone is going to figure out my age, which is fine. And they were like, no, it's going to be way too intense. And they took me, and I was not scared. I was just in awe of the quote unquote living dinosaurs that I was getting to see on screen. And that still, I love dinosaurs, and I have my stuffed raptor from 3 decades ago. Is still my favorite stuffed animal. And so that was that I consider my first horror movie. My first slasher movie, which happened in middle school and was a less fun experience, was at a sleepover. We watched Scream. And now I adore Scream. Of course, it's amazing. It's so much fun. But at the time, I had never seen gore like that in anything. And so it kind of broke my middle school brain and freaked me way the hell out. And also the fact that it's kind of like a home invasion style killer where like he comes right to your house to get you really fucked with me for a while. And so now like I love it, but at the time it did not go over well and I was just scared shitless. So
I understand. I completely understand. If it makes you feel any better about your Jurassic Park hot take, which I can see the argument for it being horror. My horror hot take that has gotten me some eyebrow raising: Predator is a slasher movie.
Oh, no, that's fair. We've talked about that too. And we covered Prey, on our podcast, because Naru is such a great final girl. But yeah, I mean, but in this, it's in the same vein that Alien is also like a horror slasher movie. So I mean, definitely, I get it.
I've made the comparison, and once I break it down, I think I've gotten somewhere with the argument. But you compare the Predator to Jason Voorhees, mask, silent, uses stealth, kills in incredibly bloody fashion, and uses an isolated area that people can't escape from or don't know where they are to pick off his victims one by one.
Yeah.
The same damn character.
Yeah. And the gore in those movies is pretty impressive at times. So, yeah, I'm with you.
I remember Jesse Ventura's, when he gets hit with the plasma cannon, his chest just explodes. And I'd been in horror movies by then, but even that was like, whoa. Yikes.
Isn't that fun though, when like you've been in horror for a while and you can see a movie that still makes you go like, oh, holy shit.
Last one that did that for me was Companion.
Oh, Really?
Oh, yes. It was the final kill.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that
It
is
was
gnarly.
yeah, with the electric,
Mhm.
corkscrew.
Corkscrew, yeah.
Yeah, that happened, and both me and my wife went, "Holy shit, that's weird."
That's funny. It's funny you say that. Iris in Companion is my favorite modern final girl. Like, my favorite final girl of the past few years.
She is an intense final girl. I really love that movie.
I love that movie. I love her. People who listen to our podcast know, because I never stop talking about it, that I work in AI. And I also love AI, which I know is also a hot take. Sorry. I always feel the need to apologize for it because I know that it's a controversial, like, love it or hate it thing. But so I love
I
seeing movies related to like that kind of horror.
I think it's like every other tool. There are uses for it in which it is useful, in which
Yes.
it's harmless, in which it can benefit. And then there are
And
uses
ways in which
for
it
it
can
in
be
which it is
abused.
exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like any tool. Yes.
Yeah. I don't need Chat GPT to create a picture of a dog for me. I can go out and find a dog,
Sure.
but can it create a summary of a very long document and, hit the bullet points? Yeah, absolutely. Perfectly useful.
Perfectly useful.
Yeah. So not a hot, at least with me, not anything you have to defend.
I appreciate that. You can, if you want to go the picture generation route, though, you can also do fun stuff like, here's a picture of my dog, make him look like the predator. And then you get all
True.
kinds of fun things. So,
And for those of us who are not artistically skilled, raise his hand.
right? Like, you'd never be able to have that otherwise. But with this,
No.
you could have it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Print it out. You've got a poster of your dog as the predator.
Right. Because otherwise, if you're asking me to draw something, I'm going to fuck up a stick figure.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we get to our topic at hand, which, in honor of your podcast, which celebrates women in horror, I thought it would be
Yeah.
appropriate to celebrate women in gaming
Let's do it.
in all sorts of aspects. So why don't we start with you are women, obviously a woman.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would be kind of inappropriate to be talking about this topic. What is your experience being a woman in the gaming sphere? Because
Uh-huh.
I mean, in case anyone couldn't tell, I'm a guy. I'm also just I am the most rare of gamers, the cis white male.
Yeah, not typical at all.
No, there's not a million games or gamers made that look just like me. So I want to know what your experience is. Because it's something I will never be able to relate to.
Um, it can be challenging. I will say that I don't really play much in terms of like online multiplayer games. So in terms of the kind of vitriol that some women experience when they get onto a mic, like with other gamers online, I am I have not exposed myself to that very much. So that is not part of my experience. But I think that there just like in horror movies recently, there are a lot of really strong female characters in games right now. Ones that are not like hypersexualized, not doesn't necessarily cater to the male gaze, quote unquote. And that's refreshing. It's still difficult though, because I do spend a lot of time on Reddit.
Hmm.
And I spent a lot of time in the subreddits for the various games that I enjoy. And, Reddit is also very famously male. And they can be quite unwelcome about these strong, like unsexualized, but still beautiful female characters. And so I can give an example, which is my favorite female character in gaming is Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. And I have cosplayed her. I adore her. But when Horizon Forbidden West came out, and people who were online at the time probably remember this, there was all this controversy because since the graphics had gotten were so improved, you could really see the details of her face, and she had like a slight bit of peach fuzz on her face, like humans do, like normal humans
Right.
do.
Yeah.
And a bunch of gamers online were like, "Oh my god, she has a beard. What the fuck? They gave her facial hair." And it's
I missed
oh
this.
my god, and it's literally and then everyone was trying to, like, yassify Aloy. They were, like, adding makeup and, like, trying to improve her, and people are saying she's, like, objectively ugly and all this crazy stuff, which if you don't know what Aloy looks like, go Google Aloy from, Horizon and see that she is a beautiful woman. Like, even though
Right.
she is not wearing makeup, because why would she? She's like in a tribal scenario in like a post-apocalyptic world. But anyway, that's when the misogyny kind of really comes out, is when female, like, women in gaming aren't like specifically designed to appeal to men. And especially because later, like, Aloy is dating a woman. And then, by that note, we have two of my other favorite female characters in gaming, which, we can discuss more in detail, like the different games and the characters within them. But I just kind of want to set the stage for like how I feel. Ellie and Abby from Last of Us. I do love both of them. Yes, I love Abby, and I will die on that hill. And oh my god, people were so aggressive about Abby, not just because of like what she does in the game, which, is quite infamous, but also for how she looks. Everyone was like, it's impossible that a woman in the apocalypse would be able to become like extremely fit and buff. Not, noting the fact that most male game characters do look like that.
Right.
And nobody complains about that. But it's like, oh my god, this woman could never possibly achieve this physique, to the point that in the show, they just removed that element of her character, which really upset me, because we don't get to see women like that in games very often. So anyway, and then, there's all the gamers who think that Ellie should be like more attractive, and so, which is like, come on, you guys.
She's supposed to be
She's like first
12 in the
when you
first
meet
one,
her, she
and
is a child.
yeah.
Like, and then later, when she's an adult, she also is not concerned with being attractive, because why would you be in that situation? But also, she's still like a cutie. Like, it's so
Right.
dumb. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting fired up now. You can see I have strong opinions about this, but
No, that's what we're here to talk about. It's something that I've even caught myself at one point doing, not judging the character, but
mhm.
there's a game called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the first time I played it,
Mhm.
I couldn't help but notice that they didn't make, for lack of a better term, they didn't make Senua hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
They made her, it's not that she's not
She's not ugly.
attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not unattractive, but she's not hot.
Right.
Which is unfortunately kind of the template that up to that point they have been making women
Yeah.
characters in gaming.
Right.
And I felt bad for thinking that, of going, wow, they made her not hot.
But you noticed it
Interesting.
because, like you said, that's the pattern. Like, that's the history, is to do that, because, of course, people thought it was mostly men for a long time. It was mostly men for a long time. And then now it's like, oh shit, a lot of women are playing games. We don't actually need to, but also, like, queer people play game. Like, it's so there's a whole wide range of gamers. Doesn't all need to be for white men. And I think even, like, I can't speak for you, but I would think that even like cis white men would appreciate a little variety. But
Yeah. Oh, here, I will satisfy your thought process. If there is a create a character
oh yeah,
option in a game, I create a woman.
I like that.
Just because, one, I can.
Mhm.
Two, you don't see enough women in gaming.
Yeah.
And three, I don't need to insert myself into the game. I
Right.
want to play as a character and try to realize
Yeah.
something different. Like Saints Row the Third, which is one of my favorite games. My character is like a 6-foot tall woman. I mean, yes, because it's Saints Row, like everyone's sexy and amazing and
Sure.
cool, but she is an absolute Amazonian badass
Yeah.
who beats the living crap out of people, who doesn't,
Yeah.
she fits in the world, but at the same time, she's the character that I want to
Yeah.
see in that world. I
Yeah.
don't want to see another fucking white guy.
Right. And it's cool that there are a lot of games now that let you choose, right? Not even just like the really robust create a character things, but if you think about like, well, I'm a big Far Cry fan. So there's been a lot of recent examples in Far Cry, but like Far Cry 5 has Danny that you can play as woman Danny or man Danny. Cyberpunk, you play as V, like male or female. I think that it gets a little more complicated when one of the characters is considered canon and the other one isn't, which I don't know who decides that. But like, I remember when Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out and most people were playing as like Alexios. And then there was a lot of complaints about his voice acting, which no shame on the actor. I feel terrible that he had to go through that criticism. But like people realized, oh my God, if you play as Cassandra, it's basically like playing a Wonder Woman game. And so then like, public opinion gravitated towards her instead. So yeah, I guess it's nice to have choice. And then when it's story driven and they need to lay out a specific character for you, yeah, it is nice to have some gender variety at times.
Yeah, it breaks up the homogeny of gaming. Like I was so disappointed shortly before it came out into open beta, because I don't think the full game is out yet, Hades 2. I was so disappointed when people were getting upset about the lead character not being the same character from the original, that it's his sister.
Oh, yeah.
Like, God forbid you change.
Right. It's like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right. Because like and as a Far Cry fan, this is a complaint that those games get a lot, which is that it's like the same formula over and over, just in a different setting with different characters. And it's like, that's the game. You picked up Far Cry, you expect to play a Far Cry game. But then it's like when they try to do something different, like they kind of changed up some of the like the weapon system and everything in 5, people were like, what the hell? Why'd you change everything? This is bad. Like, change it back, And so it's like, you can't win. You can't innovate and you can't do the same thing. So what are you left with?
Yeah. It's so frustrating to see that too. Like, it's such a changing the gender of I know that they changed the character entirely and there's a completely different moveset. She's more magic based than Zagreus was, which adds a new element of gameplay without completely changing the idea of Hades. But
yeah,
oh no, you added a woman, you went woke.
Oh my God, I'm so tired of that argument.
God forbid you represent the 51% of the population.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah.
And it also it introduces like interesting new mechanics, like kind of what you're saying in terms of the physicality of your characters. And so for like to use Last of Us as an example, Ellie and Abby are obviously both women, but playing as Abby is a very different experience from playing as Ellie and as Joel. And so when you bring gender into it or not, if you just bring in like different body types, different fitness levels, then it gives you the chance to play around with other things. And that's all gaming is, just playing around. And the sad thing is, and I say this as a gamer, gamers are the whiniest people on the internet. I swear to God. And so it's like, can't you guys just, there are valid criticisms frequently, but also you guys like play your game, have fun, as long as you're getting what you paid, like the bang for your buck, which, that's the issue, is sometimes that isn't always the case. But as long as you are fucking, just enjoy. Life's too short, man. Like, you want to spend 6 days on Reddit complaining because, a character is too buff, like whatever.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I think with that, we should talk about some of our favorite female characters. Why don't you go first?
So, have you played Horizon?
I played some of it. I have to admit I could not get into it, mainly because I didn't enjoy the gameplay loop. Like, I felt
okay.
I felt like every robot had a single or every robo dinosaur or whatever had a single strategy and I could just exploit that strategy. I didn't get rewarded for experimenting. It's a beautiful game,
It's beautiful.
and I love that it has a female protagonist. It was, like I said, it was the gameplay loop that just kind of, I couldn't get into it.
That's totally fair. Like, certain games hit for people and they don't hit for others. I will say that one of the games on my list to talk about is Aloy is my favorite female character, and then my favorite game that I come back to most frequently is Red Dead 2. And when that came out, and of course it's objectively considered one of the best games of all time, but the gameplay isn't fun for everyone. It is clunky, it's slow. It took me a while to get into Arthur's boots, and people also were worried because they're like, oh, John Marston is such an icon. How can you replace him with this new character? And then now I think Arthur is more beloved than John even. I actually said that to Arthur's voice actor when I met the cast at a convention, and he was kind of like, oh my God, don't let anyone hear you say that. But Arthur, who doesn't love Arthur Morgan? And so, yeah, so I can see why Horizon wouldn't hit for everyone. I do love the Robo Dinosaur element. I do find the gameplay really fun, but I will say they did improve upon it in the second movie. But Aloy, voiced by Ashley Birch, who has been in a lot of other things. You would probably recognize her face because she's also just an actress in her own right. She actually directed the most recent episode of Always Sunny, which is really random. But yeah, I love that game. I love Aloy. She's a great female character. And yeah, if anyone hasn't played it, they are really gorgeous games. Maybe the prettiest games I've seen.
They are. The scenery,
yeah,
the intricacies of the robot dinosaurs.
Oh my God, yeah, cool. I love those designs. Oh my God.
Those things are amazing. A character that I really love is Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay, I haven't played it, but I am aware of the character because I do see a lot of fan fiction online. fan art, I should say. But yeah, so tell me about her.
So Karlach her character. She was in the employ of a demon, and she has escaped that demon. Her heart has been replaced by something called an infernal machine, which causes her to constantly set on fire, basically. So she has what kind of look like devil horns, except for one is broken off. Somehow, despite being red and on fire and running from hell, she is strangely optimistic. She is a ball of fun. She has this kind of whimsical, spirited, just let's go out and have she would be the first to say, let's go out and have some fucking fun.
That's hilarious.
And she swears constantly. She is just the most filthy mouth character, but at the same time, there is a sweetness that if you approach her and start certain dialogue trees, she's really lonely, and the condition that she has because of the infernal heart means she can't touch people, and she knows that she has a short time left. All she wants is a loving relationship with someone. So there is this carefree, YOLO kind of attitude, but at the same time, she just wants to be, she literally says at one point, I just want to touch somebody. I just want to be held. And it's so sweet and human. And you have your choice of different romantic interests. Theoretically, you can romance anyone, straight or LGBTQ.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
My lineup is all women because I just happen to find I've got 9 or 10 of the characters, but I just like the way the women look as a unit. And I had initially started romancing one character, and then Karlach came out, and I'm like, oh no.
You're like, wait.
She is such a sweetheart. I'm falling in love with a digital character.
Relatable. Sweet whimsical optimism is not what I imagined when I saw that character's face. But I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no. Yeah, it's completely not the character that I expected because she's also like a barbarian tank kind of character. She just buries people. She bludgeons them to death.
Amazing.
But you get to know her and she's just nice and sweet and very assured of herself, but she just wants a nice time before she leaves the earth.
You're making me wanna like try to play that game again. I was like, when it came out, I was like, I don't have the time to get fully invested in this right now. It seems like a big time investment.
It is. I have been playing it since January, February. I think I put 40 hours in, and I'm only about 10% of the way into Act 2.
I mean, that's awesome.
It's a game I'm planning on finishing sometime late next year, just because I know.
Yeah. Well, also, it's nice to take your time sometimes with games that you like, as opposed to speedrunning them, which I have done before only because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to get spoiled on this. Some of the Red Dead was tough because I was like, oh my God, I love this world and I want to spend so much time in it. But I'm going to try to zip through the story because I already know someone is going to spoil everything for me in some comment thread somewhere. And so I got through that. But then I played a lot of the side stuff after. So
all right. What's another character that you love?
So since you brought up a non-human character, I have a couple of non-human characters that I also really like. Like, for example, and I know Ashley wanted to talk about this, the sirens in Borderlands, I love playing at. And because I kind of like, whenever you get a choice of an archetype, like a character archetype to play, I always choose the kind of like sorcerer type, the magic, because that's, for me, when I'm gaming, I don't necessarily want like a hardcore realistic scenario. I mean, Red Dead is a different situation. I like the realism in that one. But it's fun to come in and have like basically superpowers too. And so I love playing as the sirens. And, Maya in Borderlands is obviously the most beloved siren. I loved playing as Amara in Borderlands 3. And for those of you who don't know, Amara, she is Indian and she is, like Abby, incredibly buff. And she has these like multiple arms that she can summon out, like magical arms that can do various things. And she's a lot of fun. She's kind of a like cocky badass type character. But yeah, again, just kind of a unique persona to play as, in terms of her being both really physically powerful, but also to have the magic element. And I have been seeing the ads for the new Borderlands, and I'm really excited about that siren character too, because she can summon these kind of really cool wings. And then she also has this like gigantic magical pet cat, like pet panther. And I'm like, I'm on board, sold. So
it's got a cat.
Got the cat. I'm down. But do you like Borderlands at all?
I have not played a Borderlands game, which every time Ashley seems to forget it, and every time I say I haven't played a Borderlands game, she threatens to quit the podcast.
I mean, I get it because when I first started playing Borderlands, and I can see why someone would immediately bail, because I started playing it for like 5 minutes and my like eyes were bleeding. It was like the screen is constantly assaulting you with so many different menus and items and like magic spells and other characters. And it's wild, chaotic nonsense, basically. And I was like, oh no, this is overwhelming. But then I came back to it later, and once you get into once you understand the gameplay and you get into it, I had a lot of fun with it. And that one is actually one that I played online with friends quite a bit, and that's cool too, because then if each of you picks a different character archetype, you can each kind of support the group in a different way, and it's just silliness, really. They don't take themselves too seriously, and it's just a fun, silly series. So,
and sometimes you need that in a game.
Yeah.
You need just some mindless, something that just scratches that lizard part of the brain.
Something you're just like shooting a bunch of guns and running around crazy environments with your friends. And yeah, that can be quite cathartic.
I can't say that the next character that I would like to highlight is fun.
That's okay.
It's definitely it's a much more serious game. It's Metal Gear Solid 3, and the character is actually the boss.
I am only vaguely familiar with the Metal Gear series. So I actually don't know the character that you're referring to.
Okay, so
let's hear about her.
Oh Lord. I can't. I could spend an hour trying to unpack the entire series.
I'm gonna look her. Give me her name because I'm gonna look her up right now. I want to get a visual.
The boss.
Oh, it's just literally the boss. Okay.
Yeah. Specifically, though, it's the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3.
I see. Okay. Yeah, she looks intense.
The story of Metal Gear Solid 3 is a prequel to the entire series.
Okay.
And it is about a character. The main character is his name is Snake. And he ends up becoming the main bad guy of the first two in chronological order Metal Gear games. And the events of Metal Gear Solid 3 is what triggers it. What happens is that the boss is sent in to infiltrate a Russian terrorist cell in the mid 60s, 64, if I remember correctly. And something goes wrong with it. The guy that's in charge with the cell fires a nuke. Even though he's Russian, he fires a nuke onto Russian soil, and it ends up looking like the United States did it. And so now Snake has to go in and prove that the United States didn't do it by assassinating the boss, who is being blamed for it. And she's a U.S. operative. Well, she's also the mentor, trainer, and mother figure to Snake.
Okay.
So now you've got to go and kill your mother figure. Well, you find out when you get to the end that when she infiltrated the terrorist cell, she was doing it not for the reason that she said, but for an entirely different reason that ties into this huge, long story arc over several games. But she knew that signing up for this mission, that she was going to have to die. And she was going to have to do it to protect Snake and make him a hero.
Okay.
She knew that the outcome would be, I'm going to die in ignominy. I'm going to be forgotten and erased from history and treated as a traitor.
But she did it for Snake.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's a final goal if I've ever heard one.
Yes. It's that sacrifice in the motherhood aspect of it.
Interesting. Yeah. My friend tried to get me into those games a long time ago, and I remember being really confused by the chronology. And it's not really my style of gameplay either, but that's really interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of this character before. She sounds impressive though.
They're incredibly cinematic games, both in the aesthetic and in the literal sense of having cutscenes that can last upwards of 30, 40 minutes.
Okay, I do remember that element. Yeah.
The closing cutscene of Metal Gear Solid 4, which I'm at the final boss, and I keep trying to beat it, and I keep trying to find the time to beat it, and I can't, because the final cutscene is an hour and a half.
That's
a lot of time to carve out. Yeah.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
Cut movie.
Yeah. It's like, where do I have in my calendar where I know that I'm going to have at least an hour and a half?
That's funny. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up that kind of really cinematic style of gaming. One of my, and this is, I'm sure, not comparable to Metal Gear in any way, because it's much less of a gameplay and more of a playable movie. But I really love the types of games like Until Dawn and Heavy Rain, The Quarry, and my favorite of them is actually Detroit Become Human, because once again, the AI theme. And so there's a really cool female character in that. Her name's Kara, and she is a domestic android who basically breaks free of her services because her like quote unquote owner is abusive to his daughter, and so she like whisks her away to rescue her. And anyway, that whole style of game, including Heavy Rain, they all have a lot of really strong characters, and I love that you can affect the not just the ending, but the whole like progression of the story. When I was a kid, I loved Goosebump books. And there was a style of Goosebump book that was choose your own adventure, basically, where it's like, you get to the bottom of the page and it's like, if you want to do this, turn to page blah. If you want to do this, turn to page blah. And then so I always really liked those kind of branching pathways. So it's always a little disappointing to me when games are super, super linear. My fiance right now is playing the new Mafia game, Mafia: The Old Country. And it's, that one is really cinematic too, but it's extremely linear. It's basically you're just like going from point A to point B with some like gameplay in between. And that's fine. Like, I know God of War is like that too. I haven't really ever gotten into those, but yeah. Have you played any of those kinds of, or even like Telltale style games too, where there's like the choice element?
I've played Until Dawn.
I love Until Dawn.
That was a wild game.
That one is so much fun.
Like every time you think you have a handle on the plot,
I know.
It's like, okay, no, at first you think it's going to be the girl getting revenge, and then no, it's the brother getting revenge, and then no, it's a Wendigo, and then no, it's like a riff on The Descent.
Yeah.
It's like 4 horror movies in one, and I kept going,
I know.
How does this all add up?
It's amazing. Like, and to be clear, I haven't seen the movie. I've heard that the movie is actually nothing like the game, which, they probably should have just called it something different. But I loved that game because being someone who loves horror movies, it felt like just playing out a horror movie, right? And you're choosing pathways for the characters, and frequently you're going to fuck up and they're going to be horrifically murdered. And then so the replayability is cool too, because you can come back through and make different choices. Or there are some really funny compilations on YouTube of like people just intentionally failing every QTE so that the characters are just like tripping over everything like they're in the Three Stooges. And it's amazing. But no, that's a highly recommend Until Dawn and Detroit Become Human. They're both absolutely gorgeously animated games. The Quarry is like that too. And yeah, I love that style.
Yeah, they were Until Dawn was, you could tell, was definitely made by someone who knew horror movies.
Yeah.
Not just was familiar with them, but knew them and wanted to craft a love letter.
Totally.
And say, here, you've watched them, now
play it. And it's so fun too, because the game kind of tricks you into exposing the things that you're afraid of. They'll literally show you Rorschach tests and then make you ask you what does this look like to you? And then slowly it starts to kind of get in your head and know okay, I'm afraid of, well, for me, it's needles. That came into play later. It doesn't for everyone because not everyone's afraid of that. And so sometimes the killer will use a syringe. Sometimes he, has the clown mask because people are afraid of clowns. Sometimes there's, blah. And so I think that's absolutely brilliant. I want more games like that. Did you ever play the VR Until Dawn Rush of Blood? Do you play VR at all?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I wanted to, but I didn't. I've never gotten around to it.
Fair. VR is a whole different ball game. But yeah, that one is fun too. It's like a roller coaster and it's scary. So
you might like, and I talked about this on on a couple of episodes actually, The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. It's a full motion video game, but the idea behind it is that you are a psychiatrist that takes over the practice of another psychiatrist who was recently murdered by one of his patients.
Oh, I see.
Your job is to both serve as a psychiatrist to the patients, but at the same time use your natural inquiries and helping the patients to try and figure out who murdered him. But at the same time, also try not to go insane because your patients are really odd and there might be some supernatural Lovecraftian stuff going on in the background.
Hell yeah.
Like one patient is a palliative nurse at a nursing home, and she insists that if she takes the hand of a dying person, she can turn into the person that they love, so that the person that is dying can say goodbye to them and have that one last moment.
Oh, wow.
And another woman insists, she got into a fight with her husband, like a physical fight, and ended up stabbing and killing him. And it was an accident, but she insists that she brought him back from the dead and that he's now like walking around the house. And yeah, all the patients have these weird supernatural quirks that they're so convinced are really happening that you're not sure if they really are.
Ooh, I love that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so you're asking questions, and like there's preloaded questions, but you could also write your own questions.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, where is this available? I am buying this today. Like
everywhere. It's on PSN. It's on Steam. I think it's on Steam. Yeah, it's on Steam. Yeah.
Okay.
Take your pick, console or
I'm sold.
PC.
I'm sold. That sounds right up my alley.
And replay value, the killer changes every time you play.
Ooh, okay.
So this time it might be the nurse, the next time it might be the gravedigger, the next time it might be the flirty artist. Like it
I love stuff like that. I love stuff where you don't know exactly what's going on. And maybe you never know exactly what's going on. Like, it's funny, we were talking about the ambiguous ending of The Birds. And I love stuff like that where things just kind of leave it up to you to fill in the blanks, or to come up with your own theories. Like, I'm a big, this is getting a little off topic, but I'm a big David Lynch fan. And so I love that kind of twisty psychological stuff where you're like creeped out, but you're not really sure why, and you have no idea what's going on.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive. Well, that's the exact thing I was thinking of. Well, I mean, I loved Twin Peaks also, but Mulholland Drive was when I was in college, and I was in film studies. That was my major. And I had taken Mulholland Drive, and I sat down with like a giant like spiral notebook, and I took copious notes, and I was like, I'm going to crack this. Like, I'm going to solve this puzzle. It turns out it's essentially unsolvable because a lot of it is just up to interpretation. You can't like take a piece from here and a piece from here and then like click them together into a nice little like image. You're always going to have to interpret some things, but I mean, that's cool too. But I like that in games too, like having to think it through later.
Yeah, and Dr. Decker will definitely be that way.
Yay.
You get just enough to set a stage and get a picture, but you never know if the stories that the patients are telling are real.
Amazing.
And every character, there's half a dozen, 8 characters between the patients and your secretary, and they all have distinct, unique personalities.
Cool.
And some of them are the more you dig, some of them get really unsettling.
Nice. I like that.
All right. Is there any other female characters you wanted to talk about?
So I did want to quickly mention Sadie from Red Dead, who I think is also a much beloved character for anyone who played Red Dead. And she's just so fucking cool. She's just one of those ones who she doesn't let herself be put in that box of the kind of damsel in distress. She loses her husband at the beginning of the movie, and she is then taken in by Dutch's gang. And she just kind of comes into her own throughout the story, and she's just a gunslinger alongside the rest of them. And she's like just an incredible character who doesn't feel like she has to try to be something else to appease everyone else in her life. And so in my mind, she's one of the like strong final girls of gaming, in that she survives and she does it on her own terms.
Cool. I've only got a little bit into Red Dead Redemption. It's such a huge game.
It's huge. You can, I mean, and that one I did play online for a while, although it was a bit of a mess. Um, yeah, Red Dead, you can just get lost in that world. And, I spent so much time just hunting and just camping and riding around, picking plants. And I actually spent a lot of time in that game during COVID because it was just a nice little pretend outdoor playground that I could just kind of disappear into. So kind of therapeutic. And also I just dig the Western thing. So
fair. Absolutely fair. There's so many others that we could mention that we haven't, from obvious to completely obscure ones.
Oh, I know. There's a bunch. I know. There's many that people will probably be disappointed I didn't bring up, like Samus or Lara Croft or and which I don't Laura I don't have strong affection for. I know she has changed a lot. In her initial iterations, I was kind of like, that's just a sex object. Like,
Yeah.
which
she was Indiana Jones with huge tits.
with huge tits and
Yeah.
fine, like whatever. I know she was people still have a lot of affection for her as a character at that point, but she's different now. She's more like more of like an actual person now. But I mean, gosh.
Oh yeah, the list is endless. Like I compiled the list. I've got still a half a dozen others
I
that I
mean,
could have mentioned.
or like I love Jessie from Control. Yeah, I think that the ones that have come up the most in conversation, especially recently, is definitely like Ellie and Abby. Do you play Last of Us, or have you? Or did you watch it?
I only played a little of the first one. Didn't get very far. I couldn't get into the very slow pace of it. But I will absolutely say I did get through the first that prologue section. There's not many video games that have made me cry.
Oof, it is brutal. Yeah.
That was a knife in the heart.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I am cheating a little bit by even bringing this up because I didn't play them either, but I did watch my fiance play both of them from start to finish many times because it's his favorite, or it used to be. He's too bitter now about Joel's fate. But I love them just for their storytelling. I honestly don't. Their gameplay is not my style, and so I couldn't get into it either from that point of view. But I loved watching and learning and seeing the characters progress, which makes the show pretty disappointing. But that's a whole nother topic. But but yeah, but they're both, Ellie and Abby, both incredibly amazing female characters in modern games. And very controversial. So
yeah, there's only one other that I'd like to quickly mention. We could mention, like you said.
Oh my god, I know we could talk forever. Like,
yeah, Chloe from Uncharted. I mentioned Senua from Hellblade earlier. One I'd like to mention, probably really obscure, is from a game called Night in the Woods. It's the main character, May. The story of the game is that, first of all, everyone's is an anthropomorphic animal in it. Like, and there's just different. There's cats and dogs and anteaters and turtles and everything. Your main character is a cat, and she is like 19, 20, somewhere around there. And she has just dropped out of college for unknown reasons, and she has returned home to her small little town. And her small little town, the economy has collapsed pretty much, and the town is slowly dying. And the story is about her trying to find herself. You only get vague hints about why she dropped out, and it's something to do with mental illness.
Okay.
They never specify what it was, other than that she just had to get the hell out of there.
Okay.
And she gets home, and her parents are they're inquisitive, but they're supportive. They're like, we're not going to push you, but at some point we need to discuss this.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give you your space. And in the meantime, you hang out with friends and you build relationships. And the character is fascinating, I think, because I'm way past 20. I have kids that are almost 20.
I'm way past 22, so don't, or 20 also, not 20. Well, also 22, but yeah.
So it's kind of getting a glimpse into a younger mind, and I think that's what is appealing. Her being a female is not a huge part of the game, but she is a strong character in the sense that she doesn't know what she wants. She just know what she doesn't want, and she does not want that college lifestyle. She for some reason she needs to come home, and she needs that protective bubble for whatever she's going through right now, and she doesn't want to let it go. And there's something interesting about that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the art style right now. It's really cute. Yeah, very cute. I like that. That sounds kind of mysterious. It's kind of the way you describe her kind of reminds me a little bit of did you play Life is Strange?
No.
Okay.
Man, I haven't played anything you've played.
That's okay. That's okay.
I feel bad.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, Max from Life is Strange, she's kind of in those like formative years too, where she's figuring things out. And yeah, I mean, so okay, so let me just ask, like, what are you playing right now?
What am I playing right now? I'm playing. Oh, what did I just start the other day? Oh, I'm playing a game called To a T.
To a T.
To a T, as in like you do that to it, like
Yeah, to a T.
letter T.
Right.
Have you played the Katamari Damacy?
Very briefly.
Okay, so you're at least
I am aware of
with it. Okay, it's from the same guy who made that.
Oh,
it is a
weird.
Distinctly Japanese game.
I can see that. Yeah.
The whole idea is that you are playing as a kid. You can make it male or female. He's like he or she is. They are going into the 8th grade, and for some reason, they are stuck in a T pose.
Okay, I was wondering about that. It's like every screenshot is. Oh, I get it, to a T. Okay.
To a T, yeah, and it's bad pun for a title,
ridiculous.
But and you're living the character's life in a T pose. Like their dog has to help them get dressed. When they brush their teeth, they have to like take their arms and pivot at the waist, and like they have a special spoon that's like 1.5 feet long, so that way they can like.
Fuck?
It's a weird game. It is such a weird game, and I think I played that I'm playing that, and before I had played something else that was really it was Little Kitty Big City, which is basically be a cat in a small town and just
that looks cute.
If you love cats,
I do.
You need the game.
Is it like Stray?
God, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. It's everything you want Stray to be. Like, Stray is a beautiful game, but the cat part of it, to me, felt almost extraneous.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, the cat could have been a mouse cursor for all that.
Yeah,
really
that's true.
Whereas Little Kitty Big City, you are a cat, and you are doing everything that a cat does, knocking things off of a shelf with your paw, and tripping people, and then snuggling up to them. And
okay, it sounds like Goat Simulator, but if you're a cat.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, it's very similar to Goat Simulator. Probably not as anarchic,
right?
Like there is a point to it, but it does share some DNA.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing like cozy small games like that lately, just because I don't know why. For some reason,
yeah,
I think I just need that kind of game at the moment. Like, I don't want something heavy.
That's fair. We've been playing like the most random shit on Steam lately, like Mortuary's Assistant and stuff like that. Like, just games that you can basically finish in an hour and just have a good time, and then maybe come back to it, maybe not. I'm also a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, which I know not everyone is, and that's fine. But so I've also been playing like Secret of the Mimic and trying to puzzle out that lore. And yeah, but I there isn't many like strong female characters I could talk about from that series necessarily. So
that's okay. Not every game
is gonna go there. That's fine.
Nope. Well, I think that is probably a good place to bring the episode to a close.
Yeah.
So like, share, and subscribe. Please follow us on Blue Sky at First Gen Gamers Pod and Instagram at the same. You can also follow me at Streets of Jed on Blue Sky. Kelly, if you wouldn't mind, plug your stuff.
Yeah, and I always joke that Sarah always does this part, and so I have to like have our socials up in another tab so that I can remember what they actually are. So yes, you can follow us anywhere, but we are most active on Blue Sky and Instagram. So on Blue Sky, we are Final Girls Podcast, and on Instagram, we are Final Girls the Podcast. And yeah, like I said, we release every week. So we'll have another one coming out on Wednesday. We are very interactive with people who want to talk to us on. I'm more active on Blue Sky because I don't know, I'm actually not a big social media person, but Blue Sky feels like kind of cozy. So definitely DM me if you want. We could talk movies, games, whatever. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I was asked to be a guest on this amazing podcast. Yes, like you said, like and subscribe. His podcast, my podcast. Let's all podcast together. So
Exactly. Support each other.
yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
on this show.
Thank
It
you.
was a wonderful experience. Listeners, go out. If I don't even care if you don't like horror movies, go out and listen to the Final Girls podcast. Fucking amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And it's intelligent. It's fun. It's I sit there and blow smoke for a while, but you get the.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you.